Dear Blevin, I hated it. I hate you.
That was the worst concert I ever saw. Then I thought, I'm just going to listen to this podcast so you reviewed it. I thought the concert was bad, but this
is Drac.
Hello and welcome to Maiden Voyages, a podcast where we usually, or most of the time, some of the time, chronicle...
Increasingly less
of the time. Can you tell we're running out of albums to review at this point? But we usually chronicle the entire Iron Maiden discography in chronological order. But in another slight departure, it's a review news bonanza episode. So if you were hoping to hear about a matter of life and death... tough. It's not today. But first, let's introduce ourselves. So I'm Blev, an historian of sorts, and I am an Iron Maiden... Oh dear, I've not thought of one.
You didn't pre-prepare this.
I'm an Iron Maiden pilgrim.
Pilgrim?
Well, having made a pilgrimage to London, which we'll be discussing later.
Yeah, okay.
I am an Iron Maiden pilgrim.
All right, I'm Sam. I'm a music journalist of sorts, and I am an Iron Maiden casual hiker.
Casual hiker.
Yeah.
A tourist, maybe.
A tourist.
A Maiden tourist.
You know,
Just...
I think I'm above a Maiden tourist.
Yeah.
Like, I'm definitely making a decision to go for a Maiden-related walk, but not a, like, huge pilgrimage,
No.
I guess.
Like a 30-minute stroll.
Yeah. Up to an hour max, and then I will sit in a pub.
Yeah, come over and sit down.
Yeah.
That was nice.
That was nice. Don't make me do it again.
So I guess the main reason for this episode, well, other than the fact that, as alluded to, we are getting towards the tail end of the Maiden discography now, and we need to space out the album.
It's padding. This is padding. This entire episode is padding.
We've got 4 albums left, everyone. So hold your horses. We're gonna drip feed them.
We've got other things to cover as well.
Well, such as, I guess the main focus of today is the review of the Run for Your Lives tour.
Yeah, exactly. So on the 28th of June, we went down to London for said aforementioned pilgrimage to see Iron Maiden play at London Stadium on home ground.
With a lot of other people, it turns out.
Quite a lot of other people. It was quite a big gig. But yeah, so that'll be the main focus of today's episode. But then we're also going to touch on a few other things. Any other miscellaneous Maiden news.
Any other business?
We're also going to talk a bit about Back to the Beginning, even though that's not Iron Maiden related. It feels like such a significant metal event, particularly of a traditional heavy metal era, and a bit about Ozzy, considering the sad news of this week.
Indeed, yeah. What are we, 2 days on at the time of recording?
Yeah.
3 days on?
3 days on, yeah.
From finding out sad news, yeah. It would be remiss not to touch upon that, really, wouldn't it?
Yeah. But before that, we are going to abruptly tone shift and go into
one show style.
Pedant's Corner.
Right, hit me with some pedantry, Sam.
Okay, so we obviously did that episode about the Soundhouse tapes.
Yeah.
Where we were trying to, figure out what's the deal with Paul Cairns and why isn't he credited and why is he...
Who is Paul Cairns?
Hashtag justice
for Paul Cairns. Yeah.
But we were trying to figure out, like, why isn't he credited on the Soundhouse tapes? It seems almost definite that he was involved in them. So it's sort of a weird lack of a footnote in the Maiden history. We were contacted on X by one of our listeners, Luis Mariano, who is an Iron Maiden historian. He's written a few books about Iron Maiden. I believe they're called Eddie Made Me Do It, is one of the main ones. And he got in touch with us to kind of shed a little bit of light on the whole Paul Cairns thing. He couldn't say too much. You can look at our X feed to see a bit more detail about it. But basically, the first thing he shared with us was Cairns actually received a golden disc of the first Maiden record at Christmas 2014 as quote-unquote recognition of participating on the Soundhouse tapes. He also received some months ago a settlement, which is much more recent news, but basically, Luis can't say too much due to legal reasons because it's a legal settlement. But it sounds like there was a settlement reached between Paul Cairns, Steve Harris, the Iron Maiden holdings company that basically kind of just closes the loop on the Soundhouse tape stuff. So in it, the owners of the rights of the music featured in the Soundhouse tapes agree a certain amount to be given to Paul for his participation in the recordings. Also settles the matter of who's to be credited in the recordings, and of course that Paul can't and will not pursue the other parties in court for any legal claim on the rights of the recording. And apparently Paul signed that in April of this year. So basically It sounds like Paul was definitely involved, but for whatever reason he wasn't credited. Like we discussed at the time, maybe it just didn't make sense in terms of the image of Iron Maiden, particularly with the lineup changes and so on that kind of happened in that year since recording. But the Maiden camp want to do right by him and make sure
Sam, they bought his silence.
Or that.
Until now.
Or, a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B, right? I think it's good of them to give him private acknowledgement at least. It's a little bit weird not to give it publicly, but as we've discussed before, the whole Maiden mythology is very tightly controlled.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's kind of the extra detail we have around that thing from the Soundhouse tapes.
I love stuff like I've been reading a lot of books about the Cold War lately. And then this feels a bit like someone walking into the Soviet embassy with an unmarked envelope going, you might want to see this. Just walking away. I mean, been given this dossier of Maiden gossip by a Maiden sleuth.
Yeah, it's definitely feels like covert information.
Yeah.
Except Luis posted it all on X publicly.
Yeah, so just in the interest of...
And I checked with him that it was okay for us to mention it.
Right.
So...
Has he checked with Iron Maiden's lawyers? It's okay for it?
Don't know. No. Maybe this episode is going to get taken down.
No. But... yeah, key takeaway. Thanks, Louis. Second takeaway, Iron Maiden, sue him. Not us. Don't shoot the messenger.
Don't sue him.
Or don't sue anyone. It's fine. Nobody. Yeah. We all think you're nice people, so, chill out.
Chill out and don't get all litigious on us. Yeah.
That's my direct message to Rod Swarr. Chill out, mate.
Just chill out.
Nobody listens to this anyway. I wouldn't worry about it. But yeah, no, that's a lovely. That's beyond pedantry. That's
it is well beyond pedantry. It's actually just important factual information that we were missing.
Yes,
in our ham-fisted episode.
Well, to be fair, I think we can be forgiven for not seemingly having a lengthy email exchange with Paul Cairns and asking him to send us some photographs of documents. I think my research is all right, but.
I mean, I'm claiming to be a music journalist on this podcast. I guess I could have done some journalism.
Yeah. Maybe Paul Cairns is on LinkedIn.
Just add it.
Instead of a connection, yeah.
Hi, Paul.
Got any confidential paperwork, legal documents from Maiden I can have a look at?
But that's all I have for Pedant's Corner.
Not bad.
Yeah.
No one calling us out on any glaring errors this time around?
I don't think so.
Excellent.
But if they have, it was so long ago that I've forgotten. And
hopefully so have they.
Yeah, exactly.
So, pedantry out the way. Let's do the kind of the low key news before we get onto the big review.
Oh yes, of course.
Big news in Maiden world: Maiden coins.
Whoa.
Or a Maiden coin.
Yeah.
So, in collaboration with the Royal Mint, the official manufacturers of money, we now have an official legal tender, I presume, Iron Maiden £5 coin. If we thought stamps was cool, I mean, coins, that's a whole other level, Sam.
Yeah. I mean,
having said that, I have no idea how many musicians have been honoured with a coin.
Yeah.
There might be, quite a few.
When I think of limited edition coins, it's always for what was once Prince Charles or any.
I mean, to be fair, he's on all the coins, Sam. He doesn't need.
No, I know, but before he became king, he wasn't on all the coins.
Yeah. True.
And so there was limited edition coins for, I don't know, Fergie or whatever member of the
or
monarchy.
the sort of 70th anniversary of D-Day or something.
Yeah. Yeah. So this felt like quite a, I don't know, out there choice for a coin, but also I don't know why. There's no real reason for this, but I find it hard. Whereas apparently I could get excited about stamps, I find it hard to be excited about a coin.
Well, Sam, that's because you are a philatelist, not a...
Did you just call me flatulent?
No, a philatelist, Sam. Someone who collects stamps.
But I'm not.
As opposed to someone who's into numismatics, which is the collection of coins.
Look, you can use all your big fancy words. I don't collect stamps. I bought 2 sets of Iron Maiden stamps because I got caught up in the hype of it.
I mean, that sounds like a collection, Sam, if it's more than one.
It's not a collection. I found them yesterday in a drawer that I hadn't emptied for 2 years.
Did you look at them with fondness or regret?
A little column A, a little column B.
It's like,
Maybe I should just use some of these.
Yeah, stop. The day will come when you're desperate for a stamp and you're going off.
I mean, I bought a bunch of Iron Maiden envelopes at the time as well. So just envelopes with Eddie on them, which I was like, oh yeah, I'm definitely going to use these. Obviously, I never send actual letters to anyone because of the internet. So I just have a pile of Eddie-themed envelopes.
So you're not rushing out and getting the Iron Maiden £5 coin?
No, I did look at it out of curiosity.
I looked at it.
And I was like, oh, well, you know, a £5 coin, how much can it cost? £5? Maybe £10. And then it was a lot more. And I was like, I will not part with this amount of money to buy a smaller amount of money.
Yeah.
No matter how commemorative it is. There's something weird to me about spending, I can't remember what the exact amount was.
I think it was 20 quid, wasn't it?
20 quid on a £5 coin?
Yeah.
I kind of thought they weren't allowed to do that. I thought it had to be £5 for £5, but I assume because it's all glitz up with commemorative rubbish, they can charge whatever they want.
It's a nice design, though.
It is a nice design.
But it's one of those things.
I don't want it.
Yeah, at this stage of my life, I'm quite happy to look at a picture of it. I don't actually need to own that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I still think it's very interesting the way that these very big, long-established institutions are now seemingly, you know, whether it's Royal Mail, the Royal Mint, are like, oh, Iron Maiden. Yeah, this is like the kind of a British brand we can get on board with now.
What do you think's next? Like, an Iron Maiden stream within the NHS?
Yes, yeah. Just like rename just get like a new NHS hospital in the East End of London that's like the killer's ward, or no prayer for the dying morgue, you know.
Be quick or be dead ward.
Morgue, yeah.
Yeah. What other British institutions could Maiden get honoured by?
I'm just thinking of like those...
The army.
Yeah, the army. Well, apparently our army is really understaffed. That's not the word. We need more soldiers, apparently.
So what you're saying is we should draft Iron Maiden.
Yeah, a bunch of men approaching 70 into the armed forces. Yeah. But he's a sprightly man.
Yeah, more sprightly than me, and I'm half their age.
Yeah, and I'm just thinking of like, you know, anytime there's a royal wedding, there's that really chintzy commemorative china, like those plates and mugs. Yes. That's what I want.
Just like a tea set with Eddie artwork.
Yeah. Or just like pictures of Steve Harris and Bruce Dickinson all around the side of it.
Yeah, done in that sort of pastely,
that really overly
style.
calligraphy type font, just being like...
I would buy that.
I'd buy that, yeah.
I would have a good china set.
I would buy a dresser to display it all in. Just for that.
Yeah, that is probably the most likely next avenue for Maiden's British institutions of commemoration.
But yeah, watch the space, I guess, because it seems that there's going to be more of this stuff coming down the track. So
the Maiden licensing machine is in like full pelt.
Well, as we will probably get to when we talk about the gig, Maiden have reached the peak of how do we monetize everything?
Yeah. And they do it very well.
They do it very well because they give fans what they want.
I've spent a lot of money.
Yeah, they are very good at giving people what they want. So it never quite strays into that entirely cynical Kiss thing.
No.
Where it feels like fans are just being...
You're not going to get Maiden condoms.
No. Oh God, no.
You can get Kiss ones.
I'm sure you can.
I've seen them. I went to, a couple of years ago when I was in Las Vegas, I went to the Kiss Museum, which is in like one of the hotels, and it's basically 2 large rooms of Gene Simmons' collection of Kiss memorabilia.
It's Gene Simmons' collection of condoms.
No, God, no. But one of the things there was Kiss condoms. It's like bass guitars, and then like just any old tat you can think of, branded Kiss, just everything. It is intense. It is an ode to the American dream of commercialization.
Yeah. There's no quality control, is there?
No.
Let's be honest, it's anything.
If you can put Kiss on it, it's on it.
Gene Simmons will do it. But as well as that, we've also had some Maiden-related music. So first off, we had a new Smith Kotzen album, which all these things we're going to talk about in greater detail at some point down the line anyway. But just as a brief summary, the first Smith Kotzen album, I was like, this is cool. This is broadly what
you were a little bit dismissive of it.
I was just lukewarm about it. I was just a bit like, yes, it just was what I thought it would be. And maybe I just wasn't in the mood for it at the time. But the most recent one, I'm really loving the second Smith Kotzen album. It makes me think I need to go back to the first one.
I don't think they're a world away from each other.
That's it. Yeah, I'm not confident the second one is so much better than the first one. But I don't know, the weather's nice now. It just hit me at the right time. Just like summery, bluesy, melodic hard rock, just done very well. And, just Kotzen and Smith's vocals and guitars, just like, this is what I want.
Yeah, I mean, when we cover those albums, we'll get into it in more detail. But there's something interesting about 2 quite very famous musicians who are both excellent guitarists and excellent singers working together, but like almost from different worlds of the spectrum working together. And it's like, oh wow, there's a lot of talent on display here. And what are they going to do? They're just going to play some blues rock.
Yeah, it's going to
like, great, okay.
It's like, this is just in our garage, having a jam, writing some tunes. And I think that's really good. And today, as we speak, we've got the kind of reimagining of Bruce Dickinson's second solo album, Balls to Picasso, now released as More Balls to Picasso.
I think reimagining is probably the right way to describe it.
Because
it's not a re-recording.
No, the original tracks are there, but it's not just a remix. They've been embellished with new recordings added to the existing recordings. And, well, I think we've said that for the next episode... Again, sorry to those of you waiting for
we said this off air, so we have decided for the next episode.
Yes, will be about the whole Balls to Picasso backstory, which is a wild and not often remarked upon part of the Maiden Bruce Dickinson history. I think largely because Balls to Picasso was a commercial flop.
It's a shame because I mean I see why it's a commercial flop, but I really like Balls to Picasso.
I like it, yeah. And the half I've listened to of More Balls to Picasso, I also like that as well. But it's just interesting that, when we get a whole episode to discuss it, that is like the third album that Bruce recorded after, or had a go at recording after.
Yeah.
So there are 2 almost full albums worth of material that are totally discarded before we get to Balls to Picasso that seemingly almost bankrupts Bruce in the process. So that would be a fun app, I'm saying.
And then I promise we will get onto a matter of life and death.
Just after we've talked about the Psycho Motel albums.
No.
6 episodes of both the Psycho Motel albums. We're going in deeper on the Psycho Motel.
ASAP, Gog Magog. We're throwing all of it in there.
Gog Magog. What was it? Paul Di'Anno, Dennis Stratton's original Iron Man.
Yeah. Battlezone. All the Battlezone albums. Even the ones that you could only listen to on YouTube now. We're doing them all. British Lion.
And then sometime in 2035, you'll get A Matter of Life and Death.
No, it will be the next thing after Balls.
It will, yeah. We promise. Maybe.
Unless something else comes up.
Yeah.
We're really building up this matter of life and death episode. I feel quite a lot of pressure about it. I get messages from people being like, "Oh, I can't wait to hear what you think about it," because with the like subtext being like, "Oh, you're gonna hate it, aren't you?" It's like, spoiler alert, I think it's fine, but I will go into much more detail about why I think
I feel more strongly about it than that. But one of the only reason I can't wait to talk about the music, just the recording of it is really unremarkable. Some interesting stuff happens between the end of Dance of Death and the beginning of the recording of Matter of Life and Death. But when I have to talk about the recording of that album,
Yeah. But we will talk about it.
We will talk about it.
But before that, so we talk about the pilgrimage that we went on in June.
Get a little Matter of Life and Death related song.
Oh yeah, I wasn't. That was so
pilgrimage.
natural.
That's a little teaser for you folks.
Yeah.
Well done if you spotted that.
Yeah.
Just send us a postcard to claim your reward.
It's going to be some Iron Maiden snaps.
Yeah, it's going to be some Iron Maiden
Well, no, it's going to be the envelopes with Eddie on.
Yeah. If you can guess Sam's address correctly.
That's the first.
It's a clue. It's in Cardiff.
That's all you're getting.
That's all you're getting. Yeah. But yeah, the pilgrimage. Should we start right at the beginning?
Start at the beginning.
Friday afternoon. I finished work.
Okay, right at the beginning.
I've been told to meet you at a coach station in Cardiff.
Heading down to London. The coach is an hour delayed.
Dun, dun, dun.
Because someone is playing in Cardiff and all of the traffic and roads are closed.
By the way, this is the day before the gig, so there's no real jeopardy here.
This is June 27th.
It's just wildly inconvenient.
Yeah, it was absolutely fine.
So, on the coach, we're going. Crisis averted. Well, crisis and or having to fork out for quite an expensive train ticket, which was plan B.
Yeah, that
averted.
was plan B.
We get to Hammersmith. We're on the tube. We're going to Mile End.
Can't believe we're going into this level of detail.
Excitement rising.
Yeah.
It's the night before.
We get some pizza.
Yeah, by this point, 10 o'clock. You know, you might think, oh, that's a long day. But no. Pizza.
We hadn't had dinner.
Then pub. 2 pints.
2 pints. In a very hot pub. It was a very hot summer's evening.
It was a very hot pub, and we were very tired.
Yeah.
So quite a sensible 2 pints. Bed. In the very nice...
This has gone full partridge, mate.
Should we talk about the youth hostel as well?
No, we shouldn't.
But I think they deserve a shout out. It was the night with the nicest hostels I've ever stayed in.
It was a very nice hostel.
It's a very nice hostel.
It bloody well better be for the money we paid for it.
Because it wasn't hostel prices.
No.
But it was, as was very convenient for the next day, within walking distance of the London Stadium.
Yes.
Which brings us on to Saturday.
My birthday.
Sam was wished a happy birthday.
I was. Blevin bought me a Iron Maiden Run for Your Lives tour t-shirt as a birthday gift. It was very sweet, very kind.
We had matching t-shirts.
Yeah, that
pretty
was
cool. Legends.
That was less cool.
Yeah. Although I didn't wear mine because it was too hot.
Yeah. Blevin made the decision to wear the Iron Maiden football jersey.
Yeah, or like hockey jersey. Maybe.
Yeah.
Go onto the Instagram if you want to see it.
Yes.
It's a lovely thing to see.
Sure.
But yeah, we got to the London Stadium very prompt about midday.
Yeah, but basically we had no other plans for the day other than to go to the gig and see a bunch of various friends.
Yeah.
Wherever
being in London today, we had so little imagination as to what to do. We thought, I know, let's get to the gig 7 hours early and drink all day.
I mean, yeah, but you know, we walked over to the stadium from Mile End, which was a very lovely walk along the canal. Mm-hmm. Lovely for a summer's day. It was quite interesting. The closer that we got to Stratford, the more, even at like 11 a.m. in the morning, the more and more people were just wearing Iron Maiden t-shirts. Yeah. That sort of just, even at so early in the day, was kind of ridiculous, but quite fun. And then, you know, we went to Stratford. We had some lunch.
We did.
And then after that, we walked from Stratford slightly further on towards the Cart and Horses so that we could have an honorary drink or 3 at the birthplace.
And it's not very far at all. It was nice to see just how the London Stadium is literally a stone's throw
from
the Cart and Horses, which is like this seminal place in the early lore of Iron Maiden.
And it was absolutely rammed.
It was rammed.
We were not the only people to have that idea.
No. And to be fair, the Cart and Horses really does... Iron Maiden is their thing, isn't it?
Well, yeah.
but I was looking at... Because, the other place in the story that gets, a lot of kudos is the Ruskin Arms, right? Which is a little bit further away in East Ham.
And also shut down years ago.
Yeah, shut down years ago after some kind of violent incident meant they had their license revoked.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, apparently 2018 it closed.
Wow.
But even before that point, I don't think they were all that keen to... I think they were trying to reposition themselves as like a smart pub hotel.
Oh, that's interesting.
And so they weren't really...
Whereas Cart and Horses went all in on the birthplace of Iron Maiden.
And which pub's still open, Sam?
Yeah.
So, what does that tell you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, it was really fun being at the Cart and Horses. It's what I imagine football fans feel like on match day when they go to their team's pub, or where everyone's kind of buzzing and excited about the thing that's about to happen.
And so everyone chatting with people you don't even know.
Yeah.
Just kind of lots of conversations.
We were approached by a few people. It was very fun.
Yeah. Well, we were approached by someone who recognised us from the podcast, Sam.
Yeah, that's shocking.
Yeah.
Shocking.
Incredible. I mean, maybe the first and last time that ever happened.
Definitely the last time that ever happened.
That was quite a moment. Like, wow.
Yeah.
Thanks to that man.
But no, it was a really nice community vibe, I would say, at the Cart and Horses.
Yeah. And then we decided sensibly it was probably best to get some food at this point.
Yes.
Because we have been drinking for
we had a
few hours.
We had a good friend of the show in tow with us, Alex, who was
shout out
Alex. Yeah. Went and got food. Very exciting. And then basically the plan was to head towards Eddie's dive bar. So we did.
Yeah.
Which was heaving.
Yeah.
Absolutely heaving.
Which was really cool.
Yeah.
Like, as a thing, it was like, this is kind of awesome. It had food, exclusive merch, everything just decked out in Iron Maiden. There's Alexander Milas, the president of the fan club, just wandering about saying hello to people. But getting a pint was a mission.
30 minutes for a pint.
30 minutes for 1 pint of Trooper. But
£3 for your commemorative cup.
And going back to how Maiden have become so good.
It was Blevins round as well, so
yeah,
he bought 3 commemorative cups.
So I basically bought like a £36 round of 3 pints.
Yeah, thanks, mate.
That's all right. Yeah, it's all good. What's your birthday, Sam?
Yeah,
and I will cherish that commemorative cup for as long as I live. Tacky plastic commemorative cup. Now, frankly, I think they could have let you keep for free.
Yeah.
Like if you got a Vacan, like you just walk off with those.
I have many Vacan cups.
Yeah. Or, any major UK British festival, or even a cup deposit scheme of £1. I think most people wouldn't have paid it back, but no. £3 for your cup.
Pretty outrageous.
But hey, didn't stop me, did it?
But no, we got a pint.
Didn't have to do it.
We met up with more people,
Yeah.
Including, not to name check, but Graham from Seven Sisters, guest on the show previously.
Friend of the show, I'd say, Sam.
Friend of the show, yeah. I don't want to call him a friend. Jokes, I'm seeing him on Monday. But yeah, so we had a couple of bevies by the canal, and then it was gig time.
It was gig time.
And one thing that I missed on the way to the gig was they were somewhere giving out those fan card things.
Yeah, I saw that online, but I didn't see any
I just didn't see anywhere giving them out. But apparently people at London got them. So
something else we missed, Sam. The Raven Age again.
Yeah, I'm all right with that.
Despite being at the gig 7 hours early, still managed to miss the Raven Age.
Yeah, that's fine, isn't it?
Fine.
That is fine.
Because I did feel like, well, a little bit smug and like a little bit of a wanker because we had front standing tickets, so we could just walk in at like 7:30 or whatever it was and just be like, "Oh, great, we're at the front." Or kind of in a front section. This is all very easy and hassle free, and I've not really had to queue to get in. So.
Yeah, I mean, when we walked into the venue, this sounds stupid, but like I was sort of like taken aback by how huge a stadium is.
It is really big, and also I think it's different being stood on the floor for it.
Yeah,
when you're up in the seats, you get that sense of perspective, but I don't know, everything kind of gives you a bit of context. But when you're on the floor and you look around, it's just like, geez, this is massive. I mean, that is the biggest show I've ever seen Maiden do. And I did look.
Well, it was what, 75,000?
75,000. So it's bigger than Twickenham Stadium.
Wow.
Which is their only other UK headlining stadium gig to date.
Yeah.
I think it's actually bigger than the capacity of like Sonosphere.
Wow.
When we saw them at Sonosphere. You know, I think it's bigger than that.
I think that's probably right. I think download nowadays is like 80, 85.
Yeah.
So it's not far off from a modern festival.
And also, you've got to bear in mind that if you see Maiden at Download, they'll say, oh yeah, 80,000 people ever there. But not all of those people are watching Maiden. Like the majority will be, but there will be, a lot of people who aren't, right? So, yeah, it was...
But these people are all here for Maiden.
Yeah, and it was really interesting talking to some of the people just at the Cart and Horses, like that guy who was telling us, and he was, in his 50s? Like, he wasn't a young guy.
Yeah.
But just saying how it's his first time seeing Maiden, and he was like, yeah, I like some of their songs. It was...
Yeah.
We'll get to this when we get to the crowd, right? But concerts on that scale just inevitably attract, I think, a more... all the diehards are there, right?
Yeah.
But they're a little bit...
There are people there who want to be at something because it's a big event.
Yeah, because it's a big event.
Necessarily,
yeah, it's a huge outdoor show.
Have a special interest in Iron Maiden.
Yeah, which is interesting because that's different even to say the Future Past tour.
Yeah, and also there's nothing wrong with that.
No, nothing wrong with that.
It's just an interesting shift in the crowd.
Yeah, and not something that you're used to at Maiden gigs because there aren't, even when Maiden are doing an arena in front of 8 to 20,000 people, there aren't all that many casual fans. Everyone feels pretty rabidly into Maiden, right?
Yeah.
I know they are there, but before we get to Maiden, though, we did get there in time to see Hailstorm.
Yeah.
Not Hailstorm, the pirate.
No.
Misogynist band. The misogynist pirate band.
Are they misogynistic towards pirates specifically?
Specifically.
Yeah, okay. We saw Hailstorm. Lizzie Hale continues to be one of the coolest front people ever. I mean, incredible vocals.
Come up again when we talk about the Back to the Beginning show as well, because she did an amazing turn there.
It's just a shame about Hailstorm's songs.
Yeah, most of the material's pretty average, isn't it?
Yeah. And obviously it's very easy for us to be judgy on our silly little podcast with us having no real musical careers or talent or whatever. Obviously, they're all very talented musicians. Just for whatever reason, other than the song Love Bites, nothing I ever hear from Hailstorm ever connects with me. And it's such a shame because Lizzie Hale's voice is so, so good.
Yeah.
And she is such a good performer that I keep thinking of the few gigs of Skid Row she fronted a year or two ago.
Yeah.
How cool that must have been. That's what I want. I want Lizzie Hale in like a Aggie heavy metal, hair metal band, basically.
Yeah. Hailstorm are... If I was at a festival and they were playing, based on that set I saw, I would definitely go and see them again. But there's no way I'm actually probably going to go sit down and listen to their music. It was an entertaining way to spend 45 minutes, but just the songs are fine, basically. But then we get on to the main course.
The Maiden course.
The main course, if you will. Iron Maiden. That was not our reaction for Maiden, by the way.
No.
We were very excited.
We were both incredibly hyped.
Giddy, you'd say. But yeah, what a set.
What very cool set.
A set. I don't even know where we begin. I mean, we've already spoken about the set list, haven't we, really? So,
yeah.
And, so if you've heard that episode, you know what Maiden played. There was nothing different about the London set. But still, it's very, particularly that run of the first 5 songs.
Yeah.
The Diana era stuff, that was just so exciting. Ides of March, intro tape into Murders in the Rue Morgue, which I still think is so cool.
Starting track. And then that into, it was Killers next, right?
Might have been, yeah.
Yeah. But I think or it might have been Wrathchild, I can't remember.
Oh, I think it might have been Wrathchild.
Yeah.
And then maybe Killers.
But I think what was immediately clear from those first few songs were the the back screen visuals, clearly a lot of thought had gone into them, a lot of effort had gone into them. They were quite high budget. And they really brought a lot of the songs to life. Like when I think back to seeing Killers at that gig, I just imagine that back screen showing the sort of Eddie's eye view of running through the streets of East London, hunting someone down with an axe in his hand. Like all that stuff just really brought the songs to life. I loved it.
Yeah, because I think when we discussed the episode where we did our Dream Maiden sets, I went on record saying I love how analog the Maiden show is.
Yeah.
And I said I was really grateful they'd not gone down the screens route.
But
now I am eating a bit of humble pie now and going, no, it was really well done. Like,
it was really well done. There was, I mean, at least there was some physical stuff. Like looking at the gig overall, there was some physical stuff and props and like on-stage eddies. But you do lose a little bit of something when the onus is on the digital screens.
Yeah.
Like there wasn't any, giant Eddie...
Yeah, the big inflatable Eddie doing Iron Maiden.
Like a Spitfire or whatever.
Yes, yeah.
So you do lose a little bit of that physical ability. But then the trade-off was you got these very bespoke visuals for each song. Yeah. So like during Power Slave, you had that amazing sort of slow pan into the pyramids from the Power Slave cover and the changing weather and the changing day and night cycle.
Yeah.
It just feeling quite intense throughout the song. For Rime of the Ancient Mariner, you had a huge amount of visuals just telling the narrative of the entire Rime of the Ancient Mariner story. There was lots of cool stuff like that. So the balance still worked.
Yeah, and also I thought they were quite wise not to... It wasn't like every song had some really intricate...
Yeah.
So, like Phantom of the Opera, all the screen is really doing is just showing like a reconstruction of like a Victorian era theatre, right? It's not...
It was a backdrop.
Yeah, it was acting as a backdrop, and I quite appreciate... Because you don't get that sense of visual fatigue of bands who just... It's like constantly is another video. It just feels a bit like, okay, like I actually at some point just kind of want to watch the musicians without... them feeling like there's this giant film on behind them, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is what, if you don't incorporate the two worlds, it can feel a bit like, why is there a band playing and then there's just like a film like going behind them, like, it just...
But then also,
that wasn't the Maiden experience. Like, it was really well done.
They additionally found ways... And I haven't actually seen many other bands do this, but they found ways to mix the physical with the digital stuff.
Yeah.
So like during Hallowed Be Thy Name, you had Bruce sort of literally walk into the screen and then his kind of like narrative continue on the screen and come back to physical Bruce. And it was all pretty seamless and well done.
And also what I liked about that as well is it felt like a good little bit of Iron Maiden, like, even though... It was very high tech. It felt like quite old school smoke and mirrors.
Yeah.
A little bit of silly fun. But just, in the way that...
There's still a sense of theatre to all of it.
Exactly.
And I think like when I think of bands that I've seen who have leaned heavily on digital screen backgrounds, like when I saw Guns N' Roses a few years ago, it was just a lot of very poor quality animation, short loops of animation. It was just... It was... dog shit. Yeah, that was really bad.
Yeah.
I saw Alice Cooper earlier this week, which made quite heavy use of digital screens, but it was often good and then often just completely wasted. Like it was just like either a backdrop or bits of film footage repeating, but just not much sort of melding between the stage show and that background.
Yeah.
And I mean, a lot of the time it was just video of the stage show, so like zoom ins and stuff, and that was fine. But it's just, you could tell with the Maiden stuff that a huge amount of thought had gone into the presentation, and that really made the screens work for me.
The worst example I've seen, and this was actually before, when bands who wanted to do that, they still had to use basically projectors and projector screens rather than having an LCD. But it's when I saw Wasp, and this would have been back in about 2011, and just projected behind the band were just the old music videos of the songs as they were playing that song. And so you just ended up with this very unflattering comparison of, oh, look, it's Blackie in the mid-'80s. God.
It is prime.
Great. And it's, oh, okay.
Yeah, that's quite a weird call, that, actually.
Yeah, what an odd thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like you're watching
I mean, it could be...
Wild Child, and it's just like the music video behind them. And then there's Blackie in 2010 in not a particularly big venue in Cardiff doing it now. And you're like, oh, this doesn't... No, I don't need that.
I mean, for a moment, I thought what you were going to say was like the worst example I'd seen was I saw a Wasp and they wheeled on an OHP onto the stage and Blackie would put down an acetate with the song lyrics written in marker pen for each song. And all the lights were off and you just had the yellow light of an OHP.
Just
and anyone who is
reading the lyrics off the screen.
Yeah. And anyone who is under the age of 35 will have no idea what we're talking about.
No, that was education in the past, everyone.
Yeah.
A simpler time.
Yeah, a worse time in many ways.
But yeah, the digital elements were great, and there was still obviously lots of pyro, probably more than you'd expect at a Maiden show. Loads of pyro, things that went bang. The performance, I think Maiden are still... there's been a lot of debate about Simon Dawson... taking over Nico's drum roll. What I would say is that musically, it was not a flawless performance, but it was a tighter performance than the Future Past tour.
Yeah.
I saw. It felt like everything was a bit more on it and in sync. There were less, kind of massive clangers. There were quite a few in the Future Past. They're like more so than I was used to Maiden doing, and the tempo changes in the songs really struck me then. Yeah. And now it feels that, which is not my way. Like, I don't think that was entirely Nico, by the way, but it just feels that, I don't know, maybe they're a bit more rehearsed this time, right? Maybe they're a bit more conscious of that, and they're sort of thinking, right, we really need to rehearse and get this really tight this time round because, we're not just like 35-year-olds who can just show up and do this like that, thinking about it. But it felt, given everything else, their age, I thought it was tight. Performances were good. For a stadium gig, sound was decent. You're never going to get a perfect sound, I don't think, in an outdoor stadium gig, but it was good.
Yeah, the sound was good. Just going back to the performance, did you feel, because I certainly felt this at points, that some of the songs were slower than you'd expect them to be? I can't remember specific songs other than Fear of the Dark now, but I mean, I remember feeling this a little bit on the Future Past tour, but I definitely felt it this time.
I felt it more at the Future Past tour. I felt towards the end of the set, the Future Past, things started to get very slow. Yeah. Whereas now, things aren't back to the frenetic pace of Live After Death.
Yeah.
But things are probably just kind of close to the studio.
I think most of it was close to the studio albums, but I do think some of it, because to be honest, I haven't listened to a huge amount of Maiden live albums. So that's, when I think of the songs, they're typically not live versions that are sort of the muscle memory of listening that I have. And I definitely felt a couple of times like, oh, this feels a little bit slow compared to what I would imagine. And I don't know. It wasn't necessarily a bad thing, but it did feel weird at a couple of points.
Okay. Like I say,
but overall, it was a really top-notch performance.
Bruce sounded good.
Bruce did great.
Yeah, as usual.
I mean, he sounds old.
Well, I think he doesn't sound old. He sounds older.
Old is an unfair way to put it, but I think it's quite... Basically, so much of Maiden's stuff is in his high range. His high range is getting harder and harder to achieve. And so whilst he still sounds great and he can still sing so many singers under the table, you compare it to the Bruce that we would have seen in the early noughties when we first started going to Maiden gigs, there is quite a shift.
Oh, yeah, it has changed, And I think even, you'll get onto this when we talk about the studio albums, I think also post-throat cancer, even the tone of his speaking voice changed, right? You know what I mean? He speaks in a different register to where he used to speak in. And
absolutely. But if you look at, for instance, the Bruce solo stuff from last year and the tour footage that's come out from Hellfest, that is so much more in a lower range and it sounds much more comfortable than some of the Maiden stuff sounds. And that's, again, really not a criticism of Bruce. I thought he did amazing and I thought he sounded great. But it's just there is a shift in his voice.
Yeah. But I love the way he kind of holds back in certain areas, but he knows what, like the screaming Wrathchild.
Yeah.
You can see he's just saving himself for it. Because
Yeah.
he's like, right, I'm just really going to drop this down. Like, everyone's going to go, yeah. And he's like the pop of the whoa.
Yeah.
That bit, I was like, yes, bro.
The man is just full of beans on stage.
Full of beans.
Multiple costume changes, running around all over the place. He's an incredible frontman still.
Yeah, brilliant. And, you know, when we talk about back to the beginning, I'm sure Guns N' Roses might come up when you compare him to some of his peers. Guy's doing well. Doing
Yeah,
he's doing very well.
Still fantastic. Don't get me wrong.
So, where would you rank? Well, I don't necessarily need a definitive ranking in your kind of general sense of the pecking order of, you know, because how many Maiden gigs have you been to now? 7?
I don't
6?
know, like 7 or 8, something like that.
So where does this sit roughly? In
I mean, this is
enjoyment levels.
maybe number 2.
That's pretty good. So.
No, well, no. It'll be 2 or 3, right?
Yeah.
So for me, the top Maiden gigs I've been to were the Maiden England revival tour.
Yes, that was a great show.
At the O2 Arena. That was incredible. And then the Legacy of the Beast tour was also incredible. So both of those shows, when I think of like Maiden gigs, top Maiden gigs, those two always come up. And I would put this Run For Your Lives tour show up with those 2 gigs.
Yeah.
Which I think is particularly impressive considering the Made in England one is like 12 years before this gig. So
you didn't forget that now. It was 2013.
Yeah. So for it to be considered in the same breath, it's like, it was a great show.
It was really great. It's so hard because every Maiden gig I've been to has been nothing less than great.
Yeah. I mean, they're always
me,
great. Even if you have to listen to all of the Matter of Life and Death before they play the 5 songs you want to hear, it's still a great show.
Yeah, but see, for me, like that was my 11th time seeing Maiden. If you asked me what my top 20 gigs of all time were, all of the 11 Maiden gigs would be in those top. It would probably be in the top 20.
Seriously?
Yeah, probably.
I think that is unreasonable.
I just think Maiden Live is. Not just.
I think this makes you.
I think it's one of the best.
Sycophant.
It's one of the best things in life. No, but on record,
Maiden Live is like a. It is an event.
Yeah,
it's an event in a way that a lot of gigs are. But to use 11 of your top 20 slots on one band is just stupid.
I might actually say if it was like my top 20 best moments in life.
Oh my god,
those 11 Maiden gigs would be in there probably.
Jesus,
at least 8 of them would be in there. So for me to say this is probably the London Stadium gig was like a sort of was probably solid mid. Is in no way a diss because that is still we've already ascertained.
So wait, what ones are you putting above it?
My favourite Maiden production is Legacy of the Beast.
Yeah,
as a show,
very cool.
That's still my favourite show. But this actually, in terms of production, might be my second favourite Maiden production.
Okay,
right. And so if I was to think of it, take performance, set list, sound, everything else out of it, it would probably be my second favourite Maiden production.
Okay,
but I'd put the Dance of Death show in there.
Yeah,
because it's the first favourite. Yeah. Like you, I'd put the Maiden England gig from 2013.
Yeah,
not the Sonosphere gig. There's something about Maiden headlining festivals. Never works quite as well for me. Still That's great, but not quite as well. Early Days tour just for the set list. I see already we're getting to mid-table now, right? I mean, even that Life and Death tour, I mean, I was on the barrier. That's kind of like... That's
but you had to watch the entirety of A Matter of Life and Death.
As we'll get onto, Sam, what a pleasure. What an absolute pleasure. So
I'm not saying it's a bad album.
No.
I'm just saying I don't want to see the whole thing live.
Well, I did.
Yeah, well.
Was happy.
You lack standards. So
yeah, kind of like a solid mid, but in certain areas, right up the top.
Yeah.
Of the more recent Maiden shows, the Legacy of the Beast one really sticks out my mind, right? And I don't need to rehash the setlist debate, but there was so like things like on Legacy of the Beast they did pull out Flight of Icarus. We've not done this since 1986. I was like, oh my god, I never thought I'd see that. We're going to do 2 Blaze era songs.
Sign of the Cross was very cool.
Sign of the Cross, Clansman. We're going to do Where Eagles Dare. It's just like, oh come on, Where Eagles Dare. So that should sound like a massive snob. It felt a bit more of like a like a connoisseur. That does make me sound like a
massive snob.
Yeah, or indeed a massive wanker, to be honest.
Yeah.
But it felt more
I get your point. Like the legacy of the Beast tour was more deep cuts. But I think if you're doing a celebration of 50 years of the band,
I totally get it.
You go for more bangers.
I totally get it. And
there were still deep cuts, right? Like Murders in the Room or Killers.
Yeah.
Some other songs that I've forgotten. But yeah, I mean, Rime of the Ancient Mariner. Yeah. I
mean, also, I'm never going to complain about hearing 777 Sun Life. Title track.
Yeah.
Great.
I would also say I had an epiphany about Rime of the Ancient Mariner seeing it live.
People need to know this.
Whereas I think I've said on the pod before, like, I just don't rate the song. It doesn't click with me for whatever reason. Seeing it live with like all of the visuals telling the narrative behind it, it all just suddenly fell into place. And I was just like, whoa, this is so good.
And now it's your favourite song of all time.
I did listen to it a lot after the gig for the next week. I still think like the bass bit in the middle is a bit stupid, but overall I do think it's a pretty incredible song. I have completely changed my stance on it, and whilst the visuals did bring it to life and make it click for me, there was a very annoying person right in front of me who filmed about 3 minutes of the entire song on their smartphone directly in my view, covering the stage. And it's like, come on. Don't be that dude.
And Iron Maiden hate you. It's not even that we hate you. Iron Maiden hate you. They asked
Rod Smallwood is going to be passive aggressive about you.
And just as a final, as a thought on that, doesn't necessarily have to be the final thought, but I thought in general, those messages saying, please keep your phones away, that was better observed and respected than I thought it would be.
I think it worked quite well. It was
there. You know,
I wasn't obstructed loads by phones. No. It was this one specific dude who did it a few times, and he really annoyed me.
And if you look at our Instagram, you'll notice we also got a couple of cheeky pictures.
Yeah, and that's fine. I think we've talked about this before, I'm pretty sure. But I think there's a difference between getting a couple of snaps, even getting like a 30-second clip, whatever, versus filming half of a long song or an entire song.
Yeah.
It's just like, what are you going to do with that?
That is selfish.
Why are you doing that? Behavior. You're blocking people's views. You're, without being too pretentious about it, but you're limiting your own ability to be in the moment and enjoy the experience properly, which does sound incredibly snobbish.
Step outside the matrix, man. Live in the real world.
I just think there's like, you're paying all this money to go to a gig and you're just going to watch it through your phone. It's stupid.
Grow up.
If I wanted to watch it on a screen, I'd just watch a DVD at home, right?
Yeah. But
grow up. Yeah. That's the
sentiment. Yeah. Just, behave like an adult. Enjoy some live music.
The visuals themselves, we've kind of touched on a couple of times. Yeah. You mentioned to me that there's some discussion of whether they were AI generated or not.
Well, yeah. Well, this is just what has been going on the Iron Maiden Reddit, which is not necessarily always the most source of Maiden-related information. But it's people floating it on there. If you've come to us from the Iron Maiden Reddit, hi, by the way.
Hi.
Tell
I have
Reddit
posted
friends
about this on the Iron Maiden Reddit before, and some people were very positive, and one or two were very rude. So that's the internet for you. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know enough about animation and visual design to decidedly say it was generative AI or not.
Yeah.
I suspect there might have been a little bit of it, but if there was, it also seemed like there was a lot of manual stuff because it was so tailored and so specific.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's some seriously specific prompting.
Yeah, and
AI to generate that. Yeah,
it was all edited together really well. If it was AI generated, but yeah, I think we're going to see a lot more bands doing, screens and backdrops with generative AI content. In fact, when I saw Sabotage a few weeks before the Maiden gig, I'm pretty confident a bunch of their screen stuff in the background was generative AI because it was like here's a classic photo of Chris Oliva. Oh, it's suddenly come to life for 9 seconds and then looping quite badly like a GIF. It's like, oh, guys, I know how you generated that.
Yeah.
Guys, no. But yeah, I think we're going to see more and more of that, and it's going to become more and more seamless. And I'll get off my pedestal shortly. I don't think generative AI is a good thing typically because like in this context, because it uses so many other people's work and creative output in order to shape stuff. But I do think the stuff in the Maiden show was well done, and I hope it wasn't Gen AI, basically.
That's fair.
But I think some of it probably was.
But there we are. Looked nice, didn't it?
It did look nice.
So,
but at what cost?
That's the future.
Yeah.
You know, let's be fully AI-generated Maiden shows forever. Just.
Once they're all gone.
Once they're all gone,
Yeah.
they will never have to die.
So what was that weird aside? What was your favorite song of the set?
That is a good question.
Gonna look up the set list to remind myself.
Hallowed Be Thy Name was a real high point.
Yeah.
Because again, there was a little. It'd been out of the sort of the live environment for a little while, owing to the whole legal controversy going back to the Book of Souls era. So listen to the Number of the Beast episode for the deep dive into that. What was his name? Can't remember now. Not Paul Slesser. He was all right. Terry Slesser. I can't remember. Anyway, Hallowed Be Thy Name was great. Hearing Killers live for the first time.
Yeah.
Never thought I'd probably hear that live. That was really special. Phantom of the Opera. I think I've gone on record saying that's my favourite Maiden song.
It's a banger.
So that was good. I also really love Power Slave.
Yeah.
When it comes out,
live it's so cool.
Yeah, I really... And it always catches me a little bit off guard because it's not the kind of song that I necessarily go, oh yeah, that's my all-time favourite Maiden song. But live, as soon as they're dun dun dun, or the like a wolf in Egypt or something, whatever that's meant to be, like a sort of werewolf that goes into
a wolf in Egypt. Having said that, I assume it's a jackal sound.
Yeah.
It's got to be a jackal.
Probably
right?
a jackal, yeah.
That would make more sense than a werewolf. It's not Bark at the Moon.
No, yeah. I mean, hey, but werewolves versus mummies, I think I'm onto something.
Sure.
Yeah.
Whatever, man.
What about you, Sam? What are your track highlights?
So mine are more predictable because I'm a basic bitch.
Yeah. Run to the Hills, Number of the Beast. I actually left off to Run to the Hills, to be honest. I was like, yeah.
Play Run to the Hills, that's all I needed. I'm just a casual, you know. No, so The Clairvoyant is, I think I've said on this show, that's my favourite Maiden song. So seeing that live again is just very special. I was jumping up and down quite a lot during There's a Time to Live bit. That was fantastic.
Yeah,
loved that.
That's great.
I would probably put Killers in there.
Yeah.
I just found that like properly spellbinding in like the most aggy way possible.
Scream.
Yeah.
Mercy.
It was just so cool.
Great.
And then
Hobbit and Wobbum, Maiden.
Yeah.
Fun. Yeah.
And then like the most basic one of mine was the final song, Wasted Years,
yes.
which just felt very poignant and emotive. And, you know, I'm not ashamed to say I was a little weepy. Like, that was just really moving for some reason.
I get you.
That's just a big euphoric chorus of sort of bittersweet wanderlust and regret.
What's
like at the end of a 50th anniversary gig, there's something really, just really punchy about it.
But Maiden have also subtly repositioned Wasted Years in the live environment as like, this is now something people expect as like a, you know, as a real encore kind of hallmark of a Maiden show. It never used to be. Maiden didn't play it. I didn't see Maiden. I first saw Maiden in 2003. I had to wait till somewhere back in time for them to play Wasted Years.
Wow. Yeah.
And they didn't do it on the Brave New World tour either. So it never used to be something that you'd expect. And then it's like, oh, this is cool. They're playing it on Somewhere Back in Time. Then all of a sudden it's like in the encore of the last few tours, and you're like,
it's just such a rousing song.
Yeah, it's
that
great.
chorus
I love
is
it.
amongst Maiden's best.
Yeah, no, I think that's a very smart move on their part.
Yeah.
Just going, no, but this is the one now.
It was just a real high to end the gig on,
Yeah.
for sure.
It will be, and this probably isn't the place to have this conversation, but it's interesting to see where Maiden go from here. I mean, obviously there's been no American dates announced yet. No Asian or Australian, so that seems...
Bruce has teased, though, that there's plenty more to come.
Which you would guess this is probably 2026.
Yeah.
Run for Your Lives Part 2, right? And maybe...
Keep running for your lives.
Yeah, keep running for your lives.
Don't stop running for your lives.
And, maybe an European festival run as well in there next year.
Yeah.
But again, you get the feeling if there will be another Maiden album, it's not going to be anytime soon, right? I think there's a lot of mileage in the Run for Your Lives thing.
I wonder, and this is pure speculation, and this ultimately, whatever happens with Maiden from this point on is more than anything probably going to be shaped by the health of the members involved, just because of the age they're getting to. But I wonder if there's a vague plan that in terms of touring, it's giving the Run for Your Lives tour as much mileage as possible. And then any new album that comes out is literally a swan song, no tour, maybe like some festival dates or something. But
it's possible.
That's the parting shot.
Yeah,
basically.
It's possible. It depends how.
Sort of like happened with Bowie, right? Like his album came out just as he passed away.
Oh, I just think it'd be weird for Maiden not to tour, and I don't.
I think it would be weird
about a live band. I get the feeling that part of the whole point of the album is something they can go out and tour.
Yeah, but I think whilst I think that's true, I also think with Maiden increasingly the albums are less about having something to tour and more about creative expression. And like we all have our opinions about how good that creative expression is, but they are clearly labors of love.
Yeah,
like Maiden don't need to put out new music, full stop.
No.
So in some ways, it sort of makes sense to me that actually, I mean, like, look at the Days of Future Past tour, right? Like, that's technically the Senjutsu tour, really.
Yeah,
and
although that was COVID threw a big spanner in the works.
Yeah, sure, right. But, like, that album didn't really get a album-specific tour in the way that other albums did. And so I could see a scenario where actually Run for Your Lives is meant to be the cap on touring. And, like, there might be one-offs afterwards.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it
but
could be.
Any new album is kind of, like, separate to touring, I guess.
Yeah.
This is based on nothing.
No. Wait and see, I guess.
Yeah.
It will be, but a thoroughly good, excellent time.
Yeah, it was a really cracking show. Really great company.
Thank you.
Excluding you. No. It's good gig, buddy.
See what you did there.
No, it was a really fun day catching up with lots of people, seeing one of the greatest bands on this planet still performing at a top level. Very lucky.
And as if that wasn't good enough, we were also at... Oh, no, we weren't at...
No, we
weren't. Back to the beginning.
The final Black Sabbath Ozzy farewell show.
But by the way, if you're literally just here for Iron Maiden, you can turn off now. There's no more Iron Maiden coming.
So, I mean, obviously we're an Iron Maiden podcast, but I think the Back to Beginning show represented such a huge milestone in heavy metal as a genre that it felt weird not to comment on it at all.
And seeing as, we forked out for that live stream, so we weren't there. But, we tried
to get tickets. I tried very hard to get tickets within reason. I don't want to pay hundreds. But yeah, we couldn't get there. But we turned the live stream into a day of hanging out and watching it.
And childminding.
For at least half of it, which was really fun. It was a really fun day.
It was a very fun day. Yeah, I sort of wish more stuff like that happened.
Yeah.
I also wish more bands just... I mean, all the proceeds went to charity, that's great, but you don't need to charge that much other bands, right?
Yeah.
It was quite an expensive live stream. But I don't get why more bands don't do that.
Because I imagine it costs a lot of money to do that.
Yeah, you reckon?
Yeah.
But I guess you need a website and a domain and all that stuff. But many gigs.
There'll be hosting costs for
Yeah.
like web domain and the traffic and throttling all the traffic that goes to the website. So if you've got like thousands of people live streaming that gig, that can knock a website down. So that will cost a bit. That won't be loads, but that will cost some. But I think the costs for professionally filming the gig and streaming it live are probably prohibitive to a lot of bands.
Yeah, that's
not like
true.
your Metallicas.
No.
But to do it like for date number 37 on a 100-date tour.
Yeah.
And or like to do it for every date on that tour would be impossible. So like it has to kind of be one-off things, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a fair point.
With a lot of prep and planning.
And to be fair to the whole team behind it, it was a much slicker, polished, just what, from the point of view of someone who watched it from the comfort of, well, in my case, your house. In your case, your home.
Yeah.
It just seemed like a very well organised, put together day.
Yeah. I think it was, I can't remember how many bands it was in total, like 10.
A lot of bands.
10 to 12 bands and a couple of super groups.
Yeah.
All playing short sets, but also each band having a Sabbath or an Ozzy cover.
Yeah.
And then the super groups doing a bunch of Sabbath and Ozzy covers. And everyone having quite stripped back stage sets. Like the only backdrop was the back to the beginning backdrop and then a big screen behind them showing, just camera footage basically. And I think because of that, it all felt very, very authentic. Like this is what the bands would do, jamming some Sabbath songs as they were kind of coming up. And
that was the coolest thing about it. And I'm glad.
It was such a cool doffing of the cap from all these bands.
And the fact they sort of kept that under wraps as well.
Yeah.
So it was only when Mastodon did a Sabbath cover, it was like, oh, that's cool, Mastodon. Yeah. And then when the next band, is it Lamb of God after Mastodon maybe? Like, they're doing a Sabbath cover. You sort of thought, oh, wait, is every band going to do a Sabbath or Ozzy cover?
Yeah.
And you were like, oh, this is fun. Because then there's an element of, who's going to do what?
It's like unpredictability to it.
It's great.
Like,
anyway, you've got...
In fact, in particular, you mentioned Lamb of God. I thought their Children of the Grave was very sick.
The recorded version they put out is great.
It's very good as well.
Yeah, so much fun.
But like hearing Randy go from like an Aussie impression in terms of like high, clean vocals into like those
Children of tomorrow.
Into the more traditional Randy Blythe, laid to rest style of that was great.
Wicked.
Yeah.
But also, I thought Hailstorm's Perry Mason was great.
That was very cool. I love Perry Mason.
I mean, I know why they didn't, but I almost wish they'd done that at the London Stadium game. Awesome. Just apropos of nothing. We're just going to do a cover of Perry Mason by
Again,
Osborne.
like Lizzie Hale singing good songs is incredible.
Right, yeah. The supergroups are fun. Like, they worked better than I thought they would. I mean, just seeing, like, oh, God, Steven Tyler. And he's on it, like...
Steven Tyler's still sounding great.
Yeah, still sounding great. But, sort of casually rocking up at 3:00 in the afternoon to do a Zeppelin cover. Like, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Right.
And then some Aerosmith.
Yeah, and then some Aerosmith.
Yeah.
Sammy Hagar doing a Montrose song was a bit like, how did you sign that off?
Yeah.
Not even a Van Halen song?
No.
Actually, like a Montrose song?
Yeah,
okay.
oddly specific.
That's one for the real 70s rock words there.
It was nice in the other supergroup, I think it was the other supergroup, having Jakey Lee on to do a few Ozzy solo songs, like Shot in the Dark. It's a shame David Draymond had to be singing it.
Yeah.
Both.
That seemed to be the general crowd reaction as well.
Vocally and ideologically. Yeah. But he got booed, so it's fine.
And given that there's a lot of other Ozzy Sabbath alumni who were not invited to take part. I mean, specifically Bob Daisley. I mean, I know he's had a lot of beef with the Osborne camp, but that guy wrote the lyrics to Crazy Train, Mr.
Yeah.
He basically wrote so much of, collaborated with Ozzy all the way up until No More Tears, like...
Yeah.
I
think...
And to not be invited, you're like, geez, guys.
That is the one thing that sort of stands out about the gig. And I don't mean this as a judgment. There's political things that will never know all the details of, and relationship things we'll never know all the details of, and reasons, blah, 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 blah. But for an Ozzy farewell gig, there were, many members who had been part of Ozzy's solo career who were kind of effectively snubbed.
Oh, yeah.
And then for a Black Sabbath farewell gig, there were many eras of Sabbath not even acknowledged. No. And again, that's because it's meant to be celebrating Ozzy. But then you get this weird, particularly with Black Sabbath, you get this slightly weird disconnect of like, well, this band did exist for like 15 years or so without Ozzy, and like had a couple of its albums were like some of its most successful and a reinvention for the band. So it
was kind of like, particularly in Anthrax on stage. Anthrax have covered Neon Nights off Heaven and Hell. Yeah. I was thinking, are they gonna? Do you reckon they could get away with one? Just one? But clearly it was no.
Like it's Ozzy era only.
Ozzy era only, and that was the same in the VTs, the videos. It was only when Sabbath were discussed.
I think that was a bit of a shame.
Well,
I get why. I 100% get why. Like fundamentally, this was the Ozzy show. But for a send off for Sabbath, it would have been nice to have an acknowledgement.
Yeah.
And it was just like a cover of like Heaven and Hell somewhere or something.
And the main thing is at least what we got on the live stream was when it came to the Ozzy set and the Sabbath set. A part of it was somewhat sad to see him looking so kind of frustrated and caged in this chair. Yeah. Not being able to clearly do what he wanted to do physically. At least he still sang the songs, and was good. Was not the sort of, it was fine. It was like it was a moment, and it was actually quite moving, even watching it at home.
Yeah, I mean,
parts of it were like, oh man, Mama, I'm Coming Home. This is
Mama, I'm Coming Home was pulling at heartstrings.
Yeah,
that was like one of those live music moments you don't get very often, where it was just, again, I mean, probably on a bigger scale than I was talking about with Wasted Years, but it was just so incredibly poignant.
Yeah,
that was particularly moving, and then
just having the four. Because I don't think people remarked upon this enough. That it's like, this is the first time the four original members of Sabbath have been on stage together since the 90s? Early 2000s?
I think early 2000s.
Early 2000s, yeah, because Bill Ward, well, depending who you believe, was either pushed out or ruled himself out of the final, 13 album, that Sabbath, tour thing.
Yeah.
And he had also not been part of some of the earlier ones as well. I mean, sometimes I think he'd say due to his own health and sometimes whatever. But to have those four guys, who made the first, 7, 8 Sabbath albums, just being like, and again, just doing it like...
It's quite interesting, because we only got 4 Sabbath songs in the end, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
3 of which were off Paranoid. Iron Man, Paranoid, War Pigs.
And Black Sabbath.
No, they didn't play Black Sabbath.
Have I invented that memory?
I can't remember the exact order, but it was War Pigs, Iron Man, NIB off the first album,
NIB,
and Paranoid.
Okay, right, yeah.
So 1 song off the first album, 3 songs off Paranoid.
Yeah.
So much more they could have played, but at the same time, those felt like the right songs to choose.
Those are the ones that I imagine that they could all do in their sleep, right?
Yeah. And I mean, I think they did themselves proud for a final performance, but it was also clearly like, this is not them in their prime.
Oh God, no. Yeah,
but
that's
it was a
that's fine. Yeah,
great send off.
Yeah, it was a really fitting tribute and a send off. And then, in light of what happened to Ozzy, then just a matter of weeks later, because you looked at him at that stage, you did think, this man has probably not got a huge amount of time left, but I didn't think we were talking about weeks.
I don't think anyone was thinking weeks, right? I mean, he was clearly pushing himself through the gig, and he did incredibly well to kind of find a way to make it work and to perform well. But like, you can see his legs shaking from Parkinson's quite a lot. You can see him taking medication quite a lot between songs. It was clearly a huge effort for him to do that. And I don't think anyone thought this man has weeks left.
Yeah.
Like maybe like a few years or something. But it kind of just feels like he was hanging on for that gig.
Yeah.
And that once that was done, that was kind of right.
Yeah.
I've achieved what I need.
When I heard about his death, I was kind of oddly more affected by it than I thought I would be in a weird way.
Same. I mean, like I don't know if I've said this on the podcast before, but we've definitely discussed it before. I've never been like a huge Ozzy Osbourne fan.
No.
Like,
I mean, I would say I'm a bigger Ozzy fan than you are.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, like he's the second best singer in Sabbath, I would say. Just because like I love Dio's voice, right?
I mean, I love Dio. Yeah.
But Ozzy is obviously the iconic voice of Sabbath. When I think of Sabbath, I don't think of Heaven and Hell and Mob Rules. I think of like, you know, Paranoid and Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, and Volume 4.
Reckless Cross.
Born Again.
Zero to Hero. Yeah. Disturbing the
Forbidden.
Priest. Classics.
No. So, yeah, like Ozzy is one of those defining voices of the genre, and like being the first member of the original lineup of Black Sabbath to pass feels very much like an end of an era.
I had that thought. Yeah, it's odd living in a world where we don't have all the original members of Sabbath.
Yeah.
And of course, you know, we lost Dio a while ago now. So
Yeah.
Oh, dear Lord.
But Dio wasn't one of the originators of the entire genre, right?
Do you reckon Tony Martin's maybe looking at the phone going, maybe now?
Maybe that. Finally, come on. We did the Headless Cross reissues. I'm ready. But yeah, it's... I think what's really interesting about Ozzy is obviously he was a defining voice of heavy metal. Then he had a huge solo career that actually, even though I never really delved that much into his solo career, I knew loads of it because they were such huge songs.
Yeah,
like
they are
Crazy
huge
Train,
songs,
Shot in the Dark, Bark of the Moon, whatever.
Crowley,
Mr. Crowley, Perry Mason.
No
I
More
mean, maybe Perry
Tears.
Mason wasn't big, but I loved it.
Yeah.
Oh, My Mum Coming Home, whatever. But then when we were getting into music, like the Osbournes was huge. Like that.
Yeah.
And that was a whole new element to Ozzy's sort of celebrity status.
Yeah.
And I think
it was also, the Osbournes was the first time that the music I liked, even back then, felt in any way represented in mainstream culture.
Yeah.
And I thought it was great. Like, I wasn't like, I was like, oh, this is amazing. Like, it felt like I had some kind of common cultural reference point with a world that otherwise didn't really want to talk about Richie Blackmore or, David Coverdale.
Have you heard about our Lord and Savior, Michael Kiske? But I think like something like the Osbournes, like, it's trash TV and it's sort of ridiculous. I have been rewatching a bit of it recently, but there's stuff like that and the way that Ozzy kind of existed outside of the metal world into the wider mainstream pantheon. He just sort of transcended the genre in a way that made him the face of the genre in a way that few other musicians are. Like, it was the same with Lemmy, right?
Yeah.
Lemmy was very much a face of metal as a genre.
But even then, I would say that in terms of public visibility,
Ozzy was much higher.
Another level.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think there will be anyone within the world of metal. I mean, even hard. I mean, I would say more people on the street would recognise Ozzy than Robert Plant. Yeah,
I think that's probably fair. But again, like Robert Plant became a bit of a recluse, particularly in our lifetimes. Whereas Ozzy just sort of got bigger and bigger in different ways.
And I think, when you see the kind of tributes that have been coming out now, with the best will in the world, when Bruce Dickinson passes away, God forbid, I mean, I will be bereft.
I don't want to live in that world.
Yeah, no, that's a world that none of us want to live in.
No.
But there will be nothing like the kind of media reaction to Bruce Dickinson's passing that we've seen with Ozzy, right? He reached another level that very few people, attain in terms of pop culture status.
Yeah, I think for our genre and subculture, he's one of the few people who was a superstar.
Yeah.
Like in terms of celebrity. He's like sort of Bowie levels of big. Yeah, Bowie's probably bigger, but like that recognizability of Ozzy Osbourne is unparalleled by
And he
anyone
also
else in
seemed
the
like
genre.
a genuinely nice man.
Yeah, I mean, look, the guy clearly had a checkered past.
Oh, a lot of
anyways,
issues,
and there's been lots of problematic things like over the years, and I may not agree with him on many things, you know, whatever. But
his attitude towards bats strongly disagree with that.
well, yeah, he doesn't have a great track record on some animal welfare stuff, but then also he's done a lot of support for animal welfare campaigns. So like, ultimately, he was a human who was flawed in many ways. I wouldn't throw my lot in with him on a lot of things, but I think so many of the anecdotes that have come out are just like, here is him being a really sweet, down-to-earth person. He made us feel welcome for whatever reason. Like, he took care of us on tour.
Yeah.
And like, I think it's a strong showing that the final gig he ever did generated 140 million pounds for charity.
Yeah,
It's like,
fair play.
that's a pretty benevolent thing to be doing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think he's got a very positive legacy that is left behind.
I was thinking as a way to maybe sort of wrap this up. When Paul Di'Anno passed away.
Shut up, Sam.
Yeah,
Shut up.
As a way to...
You're just rambling now. Way to get you to pipe down.
When Paul Di'Anno passed away, we picked a sort of a few favourite Paul Di'Anno moments.
Yeah.
Any favourite Ozzy moments, tracks, albums, solo Sabbath? How about an album and a track?
Okay. Like different album and track? Or...
No, not necessarily.
Okay.
Just your favourite Ozzy-related album, your favourite Ozzy-related track.
Okay, well, I'm going to separate them for whatever reason. My favourite Ozzy-related album is Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath.
Good call.
Like, I'd liked Black Sabbath albums, and like I grew up with a bit of Sabbath because my mum liked them. But when I bought Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, I would have been like 19, 20. It was just like, whoa.
Yeah.
I think what stands out to me about that album is it can be really, really heavy with stuff like the title track and everything being tuned down a step and a half and that sort of grinding riff in the middle of the so I love that album. But then it can also be really delicate and there's loads of sort of light and shade across that album. And that's kind of what I like about Sabbath as a whole is actually you think of them as like these doomy, heavy songs only, but actually there's so much variety in that first era of Sabbath. Is fantastic. So yeah, I mean for me Sabbath Bloody Sabbath is the apex of Ozzy era Sabbath. And then favorite track or like a track to pick, maybe not my favorite, but I love Mr. Crowley, and that was other than Paranoid by Black Sabbath, that would be the first song I heard with Ozzy on it.
Oh, that's great.
Because like Paranoid was on like the greatest rock album in the world ever. That my
you reckon you had Mr. Crowley
on.
before Crazy Train?
Yes, definitely. Okay, because my brother had a mixed CD in like 99, 2000 that a friend had put Mr. Crowley on.
Nice.
And like that big, I remember hearing that big synthy intro. I was like, what is this? This is so cool.
The intro, apparently written by Don Airy, who's currently Deep Purple's keyboard player. He also played keyboards like Gary Moore. Apparently says he wasn't credited for writing that.
That's
but he doesn't know all that much out. He's a dog bear.
But that synth is so cool. And then like and then Ozzy's voice comes in and it's just such a good song.
I know, absolutely ripping Randy Rhoads solo in Mr. Crowley.
Just so good.
Almost Maiden-esque lead guitar parts as well. They're doom diddle. Great.
So those are my picks.
Good call, Sam. It's really hard not to go for Sabbath Bloody Sabbath. Do you want a really boring story about when I first bought Sabbath Bloody Sabbath?
Hell yeah.
I was 14 or 15 in the designer outlet in Bridgend. It used to have a CD shop.
This is the kind of content that people listen to this podcast for.
MVC.
Okay. MVC, that's MVC. A throwback.
Yeah. And I got Sabbath Bloody Sabbath and I got Making Movies by Dire Straits. on the same day.
What a weird combination.
It's a bit of a weird combination, yeah. Yeah. Both good in their own way.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, Sabbath is better than making movies by Dire Straits. I used to really like them. I still do like
Hey, Dire Straits have plenty to offer.
Yeah, I will still come out to bat for Mark Knopfler and Dire Straits.
Yeah.
But, Sabbath is a... Like basically, the first 6 Sabbath albums are all great.
Yeah.
But if it's a Sabbath album, I would probably go for the run from Masters of Reality to Sabbath Bloody Sabbath. I think that's peak, right?
Yeah.
So you get Volume 4 in there as well.
Yeah.
But those are probably the best.
Yeah.
Or even the first 2 Ozzy studio albums are, I think, probably the best. I'm just going to go for the one that I've been listening to a lot lately, and has sort of been my favourite over the last few years, which is No More Tears as a record.
Yeah,
You need to listen to No More Tears if you haven't.
Yeah, no, it's the first Ozzy album I ever bought was No More Tears.
Okay, yeah.
That was only a few years ago, to be honest.
But I think it's the most you Ozzy album.
Yeah, it's because it's basically a hair metal album.
It's basically a hair metal album.
It is Ozzy's equivalent of Alice Cooper's Trash.
Yeah,
basically.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah, it is a very good album.
Yeah.
It's not flawless.
Oh, it's not flawless.
But, I mean...
And it's not...
Hellraiser, Mama, I'm Coming Home, Don't Blame Me. There's lots of...
There's some really daft stuff as well, like Zombie Stomp.
Yeah.
Like, hey.
Mr. Tinker Train is a cool opener.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good album.
I mean, if you could get
lots of writing credits to Lemmy on that album.
Lots of writing credits to Lemmy. And Mike Inez. Although, do you know Mike Inez doesn't play bass on the album, although he's in the music video?
No, I was reading this the other day. It's Bob Daisley, isn't it?
Bob Daisley. Yeah.
But Mike Inez did write the bass part to No More Tears.
Yeah.
This is all very messy. Yeah, it's a very cool song, No More Tears.
Yeah, such a strange song as well. It's really open, weird.
Yeah.
Ozzy having a go at 90s alt metal.
Well, yeah, that beginning, that bass line and the synths just makes me think of Real Thing era Faith.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. But then you've also got stuff like I Don't Want to Change the World, which is just could be a Poison song, basically.
I Want Trash by Alice Cooper, but just with Ozzy on it. That's a cool album.
So I'm not even saying it's the best. I'm actually saying it's definitely not the best Ozzy album, but it's my favourite.
It's a fun album.
Time. And the song... I'm going to go for Snowblind by Black Sabbath.
Oh, it's a good one. It's a good one.
Just crunching riff after crunching riff. I mean, that's all the first 6 hours, all this crunching riffs after crunching riffs, but just...
I mean, you know this already, but my introduction to that song was through the System of a Down cover of it.
Yeah, which is great.
Which, like, for the first couple of years of knowing that when I was like 13, 14, I didn't realise was a cover. And then I heard the Sabbath original, I was like, why is this so slow?
Yeah. No, but it's... Yeah.
Nowadays, I love both.
It's got a groove, isn't it?
Ways, but yeah.
And it even goes into the dun, 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 dun. Yeah. I could just hum the whole song, but...
Please don't.
You can just go listen to it. I mean, let's be honest, you know what it sounds like, don't you?
Yeah.
Just, if you don't, then sort that out. You don't know what Sabbath sounds like.
On classic Sabbath, Ozzy era Sabbath, I had a really nice moment last week where my mum comes to help do some childcare here, which I'm immensely grateful for. But I was playing Master of Reality, like just listening through it whilst we were doing stuff in the kitchen, and my mum just like knew the whole album, and like she's never played it around me before.
Yeah,
I think she said she'd had it when she was a kid. It was just one of the Sabbath albums she owned. But like every song was like, oh, I know this one, and would just be singing along, not quite remembering the words, but remembering all the melody. Like,
all right now.
Not quite. But yeah, it was just a really nice thing. Just like this, just this really nice sense of, that passing of generations and taste and how timeless music can be.
Yeah.
Like it connected her back to her youth, and it was something I'd been listening to a lot recently, and music's always been a shared interest of ours. It's cool. It's a cool moment.
That's lovely, Sam.
Yeah.
I wish I had something nice to say.
I wish I had feelings.
I wish I could relate to this human love you talk about. Sounds fine, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. Jesus.
Don't know. I mean, maybe if the listeners enjoyed this non-Maiden chat, maybe we could, I don't know, take requests for money to talk about other things that people pitch to us.
I mean, we've got a lot of opinions about metal.
Oh, yeah. So, if you want a bespoke podcast about insert metal album band here and are willing to give us upwards of 100 to 200 quid.
I was going to say like £10.
Oh, come on. I've got my time's precious, Sam.
Okay.
I might do a couple of hours of research to put a podcast together.
I think 100 is punchy.
Well, split 50.
We can negotiate on price.
50 quid each. That's actually 25 quid an hour. I think I'm worth more than 25 quid an hour.
I don't think
I'm not minimum wage at this point in my life.
Yeah.
If you want a minimum wage podcast, then
don't name any podcasts.
No.
Whatever you do not say anything.
I know who they are.
They're beep. And beep. And don't forget beep.
Or alternatively, just enjoy them for free. As we're currently doing. But
as we continue to make a loss on this podcast.
As we continue to talk about whatever the hell we like, regardless of what you actually want, listener, which is the way it currently works.
Well, on the note of delivering things that people don't want, should we end with what we've been listening to recently?
Yes.
I mean, I think we can both assume Sabbath and Ozzy, because we've just talked at length about that already. So let's not...
The album
let's not just
that
say
I'm going to recommend,
Ozzy.
I'm just getting it up on my phone now because I know for a fact it is a very long album title, but this is also a band that I saw live a week or two ago in Cardiff. Okay. And the band is Battlesnake. Who I've been very kind of big on. They're basically... You could almost think they're a sort of a parody metal band, but I don't think that does them justice because I think there's a lot of heart that goes into what they do. And the concepts they come up with are ridiculous, but kind of elaborate in a way that these are actual just proper nerds who really love this. But to give you a flavour of Battlesnake, the album that came out this year that's great is called Dawn of the Exultants and the Hunt for the Shepherd.
Sold.
Yeah, sold. Features songs like The Fathers of Iron Flesh, Beelzebub's Nativity, followed by Beelzebub 2, Murder Machine. I think that gives you pretty much all you need to know.
Nice.
It's one of the best live gigs I've seen this year. And they are just a lot of fun in a sort of... If you imagine an Nwabban band, but just with a kind of slight element of Zappa-esque weirdness to everything.
That sounds pretty fun.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's like Judas Priest, but... just like with a sort of kind of wry... Yeah, Zappa's the only reference point I can think of.
Yeah,
just sort of very... like doing things you recognise, but in a way that's weird to the point of being slightly disorientating. It's not even like, whoa, this is stupid and wacky. It's a bit like, this is actually bordering.
I have a headache.
This is strange. Yeah, but
Get me out of here.
But also really fun and enjoyable. So Battlesnake, The Dawn of the Exultants, and The Hunt for the Shepherd.
What did you say one of the tracks was called? Beelzebub 2?
Well, it's not even Beelzebub. It's Beelzebub, which I think is one of the creatures in the concept album, or Beelzebub. So there's Beelzebub's Nativity, which is then shortly followed by Beelzebub 2.
So this is a complete tangent, but that reminds me of a friend of mine once told me of a punk band he used to be in, which had the greatest name of any band ever.
Yeah.
Bob Dylan 2.
Yeah.
just think that's such an excellent name. That's great. It's like predates like your Bob Villains.
Yeah.
Like Bob Dylan 2 just really cracks me up.
Is better than Bob Dylan,
yeah.
So what have you been listening to,
Sam? So I got two things I've been listening to. So I've been on a bit of I was about to say like a weird kick of Twisted Sister, but it's not weird at all. I love Twisted Sister. But what I've been listening to recently is Still Hungry, their re-recording of Stay Hungry from 2004. because I'd never heard it before.
Oh,
and actually, it's very, very good.
Yeah.
I can take or leave a lot of re-recordings, but I agree with the narrative that Twisted Sister put forward of like the original Stay Hungry just sounds very thin.
Yeah.
And the re-recording is so faithful, but so much more meaty sounding. It's just really enjoyable. And then it's got a bunch of really cool bonus tracks that include re-recordings of songs that they did before their first studio album that have appeared on demo forms on the Club Days studio sessions, compilation and stuff. So it's just, for a Twisted Sister nerd, it's a really enjoyable album. So I've been listening to that quite a lot.
That's a good shout, yeah.
Quite oddly specific. And then the other thing I've been listening to is probably something that no one who listens to this podcast will enjoy, but I enjoy it, is the debut album from Cardiff Heroes, Panic Shack.
Oh, nice, yeah. My wife's big on Panic Shack.
Yeah, like they're sort of an indie punk band. Lots of very dry, wit lyrics and just quite aggy and fun at the same time.
I need to give that a listen, actually.
Yeah, it's a really fun album. It's not the heavy side of punk,
no,
but it is very much punk in attitude and like lots of fun choruses, lots of silly songs. I mean, we saw them at Soon Festival like 5 years ago.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
So it's clearly taken them a while to be able to get to the stage to put out a debut album, but it seems like they're doing really well off the back of it. And nice to see a Cardiff band succeeding.
Big up Cardiff.
Yeah.
So all that remains is for us to plug the hell out of socials.
Yes.
And Ko-fi.
Yeah. So I think it's probably fair to say at this point, our main social channel is the Instagram channel at MaidenPod. That's where we're the most active. But you can still find us on Blue Sky and X at MaidenPod as well. You can also contribute to our Ko-fi if you want to tip us and buy us a beer.
We've had some rather nice donations.
We've had some very lovely donations from some very generous people, and your support basically either ensures that we can keep fueled during these sessions or, actually replace microphones when they break.
Indeed.
Which it turns out is expensive, and we've had to do a few times. Thank you so much for anyone who has contributed before.
But if you've not contributed, when I say you've had some nice donations, we're still talking tens of pounds, not hundreds of pounds.
Yeah.
So if you're thinking, they're plush with this donation money, nah. Some of you need to
produce a podcast about Iron Maiden.
Yeah.
It's not a lucrative venture.
But if everyone who listened to this gave us £10, then we might have
£20. Our partners don't even listen to this. Our family shut us. Or you can email us, maidenvoyagerspod@gmail.com, if you have a request for a metal band we should cover and some money with which we can cover it. Feel free to get in touch.
Happy to share our bank details with you.
This is
for backs.
This is how Sam and Blevin get scammed.
Yeah.
By sharing their bank details with an online stranger.
So back to some cash. Thanks for listening. Follow the socials. If you were at the London gig, it'd be really interesting to know if your thoughts,
or if you're at any of the Rump.
Yeah, like it'd be interesting to see, what your thoughts on it were as well, because I'm always interested to, see if I'm able to step outside my Maiden fanboyness and someone is able to shed a slightly more realistic light on it.
Dear Blevin, I hated it. I hate you.
That's the worst concert. Then I thought, I'm just going to listen to this podcast so you reviewed it. I thought the concert was bad, but this is awful.
Well, I think on that note, goodbye.
Indeed. Bye.